Hi guys, welcome back to the Follow the Eyes webinar series that we've been pushing out to you guys. Today we are talking about 5 tips to finish your 2020 strong. My name is Lindsay Howe and we have a lovely guest, which way is he? Lovely guest with us today, and we'll get to him in a bit, but I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. I hope that you guys are having a great Thursday. And so here's our guest, Adam Schreider. He is our Director of Business Development. Adam, thank you so much for volunteering and joining us on this lovely Thursday. How are you?
I'm great, Lindsay. Thank you. And I'm so excited to be able to talk with everybody about some tips for advertising to finish 2020 strong.
Absolutely. We love having you here. You're definitely a vet when it comes to this topic. So tell us a little bit about your position at Follow the Eyes and kind of what you do for us.
Sure. I appreciate that. So I am the Director of Business Development in the Orlando market, work with the whole state of Florida. And basically, I develop and manage advertising strategies for clients from all different types of businesses, help them plan their year, buy their marketing, and develop strong messages.
Absolutely. And you're great at what you do. I work with Adam and talk with Adam daily when it comes to client correspondence and anything and everything. So we love having him on our team. So kind of just diving right in here, today's topic is 5 advertising tips to finish 2020 strong. And I think that we can all kind of agree 2020 has not gone how we have anticipated or expected. And a lot of businesses are definitely feeling the weight of that. And that's something kind of that we're going to tackle today. And so many businesses who are set to have their best years ever in 2020 hit this and have kind of, taken major steps back, and some have even closed permanently. And so we kind of wanted to push this out, gather together all of the information and the best things that we found have worked, and help those with us in the market and figure out how we can get this better. So the first tip that we have here is disrupt your marketplace. And Adam, being the vet and the knowledgeable person that he is, this is what he does every single day with our clients here at Follow the Eyes. And so Adam, kind of walk us through what a marketplace is and what you mean exactly when we say disrupt it.
Yeah, sure. So when we talk about a marketplace, we're talking about the people within your realm of influence, or people that typically buy from you. And I like to talk to everybody and say, when you look at a marketplace, look at 80% of your customers. We all have the one-off story of, well, I've got a guy who, came from 5 states over and bought products off me, and he does it every couple years. Okay, great, but that doesn't really fit your 80%. So in your 80%, in that local market, what are you doing to fit in? And I really like the title here, Disrupt Your Marketplace, because with everything that happened in end of Q1 all through Q2, it was disruptive in its own way, not necessarily a good way. But can we do something now that disrupts the marketplace to our gain? So we see a lot of people coming out, maybe it's special financing offers that have never been seen before, or delivery options, or it doesn't always have to be price based. Maybe it's a revamping of a product or a redoing of a product that makes a difference to your customers, something new that they haven't seen before. And what are you doing to stand out? Outside the box messaging and creative, getting in front of the news story is one of the most challenging things to do right now. It's an election year with COVID talk. Everything that you read is dominating social media feeds and messaging on TV. And what do we do to stand out and get in front of that? Think about things that are unique about your business. Some of the things I've seen businesses do are giveaways. I have a business we work with, they gave away an RV. I have another business that's looking at giving away a Yeti cooler. They're a boat dealership, and they want to give away Yeti coolers. These are great ways to get in front of the news story because it's something that's very shareable. People dig into it. They like stuff like that. So are there things you can do in your business that are going to be so popular and so exciting that they jump, right in front of the news story for the day? And then looking at what your competition is doing. I meet with so many business owners that say, well, I want to advertise, I want to take that step and do a little extra, but it looks like everybody else is just kind of holding back right now to see what happens. Well, advertising and marketing it's not a sprint at the end of the day, it's a marathon. And if you tell me I get to run a marathon, but I get to start an hour before everybody else does, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to come in somewhere near the lead when I finish that marathon. And that's really what I'm trying to encourage business owners to do now is, hey, listen, why not get a jump start in front of everybody else and gain some market share? Now is the time. And you can gain market share now just simply by being out there playing the field. And we see people that are doing that, and they're seeing the benefits of it. I have some clients that have been extremely successful because they said, when all of this stuff started, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. In fact, I'm going to keep my foot on the gas pedal and keep going. And they're well in the lead right now, right? So it's not the time to sit on your hands. It's time to evaluate and say, hey, listen, what can we do? What can we gain? So, that's my best advice on how to disrupt the marketplace.
Yeah, that's great advice. I love your analogy about, getting out in front of everyone and an hour head start. That's exactly what this is about. How can we do that and get better at that and continue to stay in front of everyone? And so I love that analogy. And it kind of rolls right into our next point of one of the ways that we can get out in front. And a lot of businesses kind of got caught sitting on their hands in this next point when it came to your online presence. And what did your customer experience and how well could you connect with others online that really affected how well you did in the first half of 2020? So kind of that second point, address your online presence. Go ahead and dive into that for us too, Adam.
Yeah, this is something I deal with all clients, whether post-COVID, pre-COVID, 5 years from now, I'll still be talking with them about the same thing because unfortunately, this is one of the subjects that typically always gets pressed to the back burner. You never know how much it costs you, and you'll never know how much you gain from having your online presence cleaned up. But what I can tell you is it does cost you from not having it done right, and you do gain from having it not or done, or you do gain from having it done correctly. So, fresh new content, we talked about that a little bit already, right? A new messaging, constantly putting out a fresh new look and just giving the people the impression that you're on top of things, okay? We've all been to the websites before where it looks like that thing hasn't been updated in the last 5 years, all right? And these are not expensive things to do, but if you have a slider on your website, every 30 to 45 days, are you changing out new photos or new images? Just slight changes to let it always look fresh and always be updated, right? Are you prioritizing mobile? Again, this is something that we'll probably still be talking to people about a year from now. And I've been talking to them about for years past is that your mobile device is where 70% of your traffic is coming from now, all right? We all sit down and we do I just took a vacation. I booked 95% of my vacation from my cell phone, right? And what I found is that when I was on some mobile sites, this is very frustrating. A lot of you guys have chat widgets or little pop-ups that look great on a desktop, but have you pulled them up on your phone and seen the hassle that it can be sometimes when I'm on a mobile device to kind of navigate past these? So things to think about, right? How often do you look at how your website looks on your phone? How often do you look at what it looks like on the desktop? Or again, is it pushed to the back burner? Blogs and vlogs or, video blogs, as I like to call them, are you taking time and just talking about things in the industry? Are you becoming a resource for people, right? I think sometimes we get so sales focused of you need to buy this product from me that we don't stop and talk about, if I'm an air conditioning company or a roofing company, do we stop and do a couple videos or a couple write-ups on things we can do preventive maintenance wise or things a homeowner can do on their own? Because the more we do this, the more often people go to your site and see you as a resource, the more likely they are to buy from you, right? Reviews and reputation. Again, this is the subject matter that leads to, you never know how much it costs you. You never know how much it gains you. But I do know that if you have a 2.5 rating in 300 reviews, you're probably not going to be the top business that we go with, right? Over 85% of people now look at reviews before they make a purchase. And of those people that look at those reviews, almost 90% of them believe the content they read online. So are you going through and looking at reviews? And how do you react when you get a negative review, right? How do you react when you get a positive review? What are you doing to push positive reviews with your clients? And then last but certainly not least, and I would put this near the top of your list, is search rankings. Do you show up when people are looking for you? So to date myself a little bit, I come from the world of Yellow Pages. I started out selling phone book ads. And the thing we would always tell people is that when I'm flipping through the phone book looking for pizza or looking for a roofer or looking for a attorney or whatever it may be, I've got one hand on the phone and one hand on the wallet, right? I'm ready to buy. I'm not reading it because it's good reading material. I'm looking to make a purchase at that time. Well, guess what? In today's world, if I Google sprinkler repair, I'm not bored and wanting to see what different sprinkler repair websites look like. I probably have a problem with my home irrigation system, and I'm looking to see who can fix it for me. So how do you rank? You rank well in the map listings. Do you come up well? And then again, tying a little bit back into mobile, are you looking at your phone and seeing, how do I rank? I rank really good on the desktop, but I don't rank well on my phone. And if these are things you guys have questions about, then maybe it's a good idea to use this as a checklist and go through and then just see overall, mobile, fresh content, reputation, and then how am I searched and found online? These are definitely things to address for your online presence.
Absolutely. I think even tying back into your point about, being a resource for those around you, if you're on the forefront of people's minds when they don't need you, you're definitely going to be on the forefront of their minds when they do need you. And when they do need a service, if you're seen as a light of information and good quality information, those people are going to remember that when they need that service done for them or for a friend or for a family member. And so it definitely pays to continue to be in front of the eyes. And so it's such good information. And I think that a lot of our viewers right now watching are going to be excited to hear about the gift that we have for them just for watching. And so stay tuned at the end because we're going to dive into that and how this information can be yours right now. And so kind of moving right into tip number 3, we're talking about being on the phone. We're talking about making sure that everything looks good on mobile. And a part of being on mobile is social media. And I think that you cannot go anywhere in the world without hearing about Facebook or Instagram and kind of what your business looks like on social media. And now more than ever, people are at home. People are on their phones more than ever. So upgrading your social media game is definitely something that we should address here.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I mean, we've got words that we use in our everyday language now, like hashtag this and hashtag that. And that came from social media. When it first came out, I remember thinking, what's a hashtag? You mean the pound button on the phone? And now I use it in my everyday language and I don't even think about it.
Yep.
We use it as slang. We joke around when we're barbecuing with our friends. So yeah, I mean, social media is definitely something here to stay, and it bridges all generations and all people. Right? I mean, everybody's on social media now. You'll get the one-off guy that says, well, I'm not on Facebook. Well, that's great. You're part of the 3% that's not. But since 90% of your market is on social media, what are you doing to make sure that your message is getting out to them? And it's more than just having a social media page. I meet with a lot of people and they say, well, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, and we post on there. Okay, cool. Well, the posts that you post on there, a couple things about that. One, if it has a lot of engagement, then it will be seen by more people because Facebook's going to prioritize based on likes and shares. So if you're posting to your Facebook page and you have, let's say, 400 followers or 400 people that like your business page and you get 2 or 3 likes, that's not really doing you any good. It's not really going to be seen by anybody. That's a really common misconception is, are we doing things to boost our post or to put that message out in front of people, right? And one of the top things we want to do is look at when we are boosting posts. And it's real easy for people to make the mistake of saying, oh, I see Facebook does a little thing, boost your post for $20, and I click yes, and I pay my $20. Okay, well, do you look at who you're targeting with that? Have you really dug in and looked at the people that it's going to go to, or are you just hitting boost and it's just out there boosting, showing it to more people, right? And besides just that, are we looking at ways to utilize our email database. I meet with customers on the daily and I talk with them, customers or prospect, and I say, hey, what are you doing to market to your email database? And go, oh yeah, we do email blasts. And I go, okay, have you ever uploaded that email database to Facebook? And they just stare at me. They go, no, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, Facebook's going to build what's called a lookalike client, right? So if it's someone like myself, who I live in Florida, I play golf regularly. I'm very much into going to golf stores, and I follow the PGA Tour online, and I follow different golfers online, and I've been to your store and I've bought golf clubs, and you took my email address and plugged it in. Well, by plugging my email address into Facebook, it'll start to find other people just like me with like interest, and it will build what's called a lookalike database, right? So based on, if you have 1,000 email addresses, we can plug those into social media and it will find thousands of people just like them who have similar likes and interests. All right. The other thing that we talk with everybody about is video, and I can't talk enough about video. I have fallen into the trap over the last year of I will watch one Facebook video on my Facebook news feed, and next thing you know, I'm watching video after video after video. A movie's playing in the background. An hour and a half of the movie have played. I can't tell you what happened in that hour and a half because I'm watching 5-minute videos, and I'm digging into it. But these have led me and are leading your customers to like and follow people based on the videos they're seeing. Oh man, look at this. I really like this guy. I've seen 2 or 3 of his videos, right? So are we boosting, are we advertising our videos, right? And then not only are we doing that, but I mentioned Facebook. Are we looking at all relevant social channels? Okay. Are we looking at Pinterest? Are we looking at Instagram? Are we looking, Facebook? Twitter? Where are all we putting our messaging, and are we getting it? And are we aware that different demographics use different forms of social media, right? So, photography, virtual tours, some of the other points that are on here are extremely important. Social reputation and reviews, right, are a big thing. What are you doing, and how are you handling people who comment on your post? How are you handling people who mention you on social media reviews, right? Are you looking at, a lot of people mention, well, my website's like a second storefront for me. Well, did you ever consider that your Facebook page itself is another storefront for you? And then if I've gone to your Facebook page, I'm going to look at your reviews when I'm on there. So are we addressing this as well? So yeah, I mean, in a time like this, and it's not going away. So if you have not taken the time to upgrade your social media game, do it now. Use this as a checklist again, and if you need advice, we're here to help.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's so much information that lookalike audiences and boosting and ad games and all of that. There's probably some people who've never heard that. It's almost like we need an agency to help them walk them through that. Luckily, we know a few people, but kind of this entire social media thing, obviously I work in the social media department with Follow the Eyes, and I know so many businesses that it was such a lifeline for them during the COVID-19 crisis that, if I wanted to know if someone was open, the very first thing I did was go to their Facebook page and see if they had shared. You think about that small percentage of businesses that don't have Facebook or don't have social media. I wasn't going to just websites to check on that. The very first place I went to was Facebook. And so that was a huge lifeline for them. And it was kind of make or break for some businesses. And, that's just the world that we live in. And it's all about, excelling in that time and, being better and growing and using what we've learned. So kind of going right into point number 4, revisiting your marketing channels and your strategy. Just like you mentioned, knowing about all of these other social media platforms, there's other marketing channels, and there's so many strategies that we can adopt. So let's go right into that point number 4.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite points, especially in a post-pandemic world. And really, the world was changing before the pandemic. This accelerated a lot of things, and it accelerated the death or the kind of end of some channels, and really like almost put on like growth hormones some other channels out there. And I think one of the things that I want to talk about is yes, customers are consuming media differently, but do we realize what some of those ways are? Like if you would have told me 5 years ago that local TV stations, are going to be nearing the end and see a bulk of advertising dollars possibly making moves to other forms of media, I would have been kind of confused to what you were talking about, right? And I think pre-pandemic, in the last year in 2019, there was a lot of talk about streaming and the way people are consuming media now through streaming, and phrases like cord cutters and cord nevers started being thrown around. And I have young children in my household, and they have zero concept of a TV show coming on at 8 p.m. They just completely don't understand that. Well, now at 39 years old, I'm losing track of the concept that my show comes on at 9, because I realize now I can watch what I want whenever I want. We all saw some cheesy shows come out like the Tiger King that were extremely popular during this pandemic. Well, they were only popular because, hey, guess what's ended for a little while here? There are no live sports. So people are consuming media completely differently now, right? I don't need cable. I don't really need broadcast. I can get my news through social media, and I do. We're in the information age. There's nothing I can't find out with just a couple quick keystrokes into Google, and I find every resource from every point of view that I've ever wanted right there at my fingertips, right? So as we see people changing the way they consume media, are we changing not necessarily our message, which we talked about that earlier, but are we also looking at changing our channel? What we're on, how we're advertising to people, how are we getting that message across, right? And then one of the things that is an advantage of this is the amount of targeting that's available in such a digital and streaming world, right? Even look at internet radio. Okay, we can put your message specifically in front of people based on what their exact interests and behaviors are. Previous to that, we guessed, right? If we were selling camping equipment, then we would run ads on outdoor channels, right? And we would assume that if you're watching an outdoor channel, you probably are into camping equipment. Well, now we can find, based on your behavior and everything we know about you, that regardless of what you watch on TV, you're really into camping equipment. So if I own an outdoor store, I can just start placing ads in front of you everywhere you go, right? And that's kind of the data and analytics, right, that we're able to get into. And some of the things that are able to be shared with you nowadays is learning more about your customer than you ever knew, right? And the surprising one-offs, right? What if I told you 20% of your customer base doesn't fit the mold of someone who would typically walk into your store? Right? Are we still getting your message in front of them? And then, online versus traditional. Is there still a place for traditional? There absolutely is, right? People are still consuming media in that way, but are we looking at properly dividing? And what I tell everybody is, this next point, firmer budgets, right? Okay, so maybe we've tightened up a little bit on how we're going to spend. And what I mean by firmer budgets is it used to be that a TV rep or a radio rep would walk into our front door and say, look, I've got this great package. It's $10,000. Look at everything that comes with us. And we would say, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. That looks like a good deal. Let me write you the check. Okay. Well, in today's day and age, maybe we're kind of recalculating what we do. And I tell everybody, let's put it on the scale. Okay, and the scale meaning which one's going to be weightier, which one's going to be a little bit heavier. If you're a Coca-Cola or a McDonald's, you can afford to do everything. But most small to medium-sized businesses have a budget they have to operate in. And one of the things I think our agency does, and of course I'm going to give a little plug for our agency, is we do a great job of putting things on the scale for you. Right? Which one is going to produce the better return? If all I have is $10,000, both forms of marketing can produce a good return for me, whether I do online or traditional. But what's the split? How should I split that up to get the most out of my money? Right? And then one thing to talk about is 2020 is a political year. Okay, so if you are a strong TV advertiser, get ready to pay some really high rates, or even to offer full rate and still get your spots bumped. But where there's always plenty of room is this little world called the internet, right? And that includes streaming and display and social, right? You can still get your message out there, and maybe it's a time to kind of reevaluate, hey, what should I be doing? What changed during the pandemic? What accelerated? What channels decreased? And then being a political year on top of it all, should I throw some of my advertising dollars on that scale, so to speak, and look at, where I'm spending, is it the right place, and is it the best return?
Yeah, absolutely. I think kind of what you said, even just about follow the eyes in general, it really pays to know and to have people on your team that know where your dollars are going to be the most productive. And when it comes to everything that we've talked about today, it's so much just for the one marketing person in your company to handle. And there's so much out there to learn. I know even in our position, we're still learning new things every single day. And I think with this COVID era, you almost have to, and you have to have a team that's ready, on their heels, on their toes, and definitely ready to go to the finish line with you whenever you need it. And, moving right along to point number 5, outsourcing, that is maybe the best answer for some businesses, when it comes to how can we be better at this and how can we excel and beat the competition. Outsource might be your best bet.
Yeah, I have this conversation with a lot of different business owners, and it comes down at the end of the day, outsourcing and then who you're outsourcing to, right? So I know some businesses, they'll outsource to a media buyer. Well, that's great. I'm sure they're aggressive at buying media, and they do a good job for you when it comes to that. Or, but there's so much more to your marketing than just the aggressive purchasing of media, right? Or maybe you have an in-house marketer, or you had an in-house marketer, and then we had to make some personnel changes due to cutbacks or due to shrinking marketing budgets. And you're looking now at who can I hire and who I afford to hire. And the conversation I have with so many people is, you might find someone with a lot of knowledge who came from maybe TV or radio or worked as a in-house marketer for another business similar to yours, that you can bring them on. But they're never going to replace all the knowledge that you'll find from outsourcing with a company like ours. It doesn't have to be ours, but I think we're the best, but like ours, right? Where we have people who come from a social media background, right? And this is the craziest part, is when I, went to school, there wasn't any social media classes you could take, right? If you said, I'm going to graduate and be a social media marketer, that didn't even exist. In fact, we had no idea what you were talking about. Well, now there's people that have these educations, okay? You get people like myself who have a strong digital background, other people who have a strong TV background. So, when you put all of these resources together and you say, hey, I'm going to outsource with an agency that, or a media company that is able to do it all and bring this expertise to the table, you're going to save a lot of money and get a lot more for your money than you ever would, possibly hiring someone in-house. And if you do have someone in-house, what I tell everybody is they should handle all of the walls in marketing, right? All the floor plan marketing, all the in-house things, all the initiatives that they're able to do specific to you. And are you outsourcing someone to do, walls out, right? Helping you put the messaging out through the right channels, develop messaging, put the video and the creative together for you, right? And then again, the one thing that we like to always talk about is you can hire 20 specialists for less than hiring one new marketing assistant, right? And then hiring is a difficult thing to do, and it's something that as a business owner, you guys know. The only thing almost more difficult than hiring is firing, right? So you hire someone, they interview really well, you get them in there, they've been there 90 days, and all of a sudden you realize this is not the person that I need. They just don't know what to do. And you have to properly get rid of them, and not to be mean, maybe get rid of is a harsh word, but you need to make some personnel changes. But you're cautious because in today's world, if I don't do that just perfectly, I could be in trouble, right? And then, so when you outsource, here's the great part. There are no rules when you outsource against getting rid of the person you outsource to, right? You can just say, hey, this relationship ain't working out, and we're done, okay? So that's an advantage as a business owner, something you need to look at. And the one question, the one thing that I talk to all business owners about is I always ask them this question, right? What's more important, money or time? And I get a variety of different answers back. But at the end of the day, I think we all can agree that time is the one commodity you can never get back, right? And then I ask this question, which is, if I gave you a whole bunch of money, could you buy more time? And as always, people say no. So if I give you a whole bunch of time, could you make more money? And without a doubt, we're going to shake our heads and say, yeah, I could. And that's what outsourcing is all about, right? It's putting time back, right? It's more time for me as a business owner, okay? I could do my HR, I could do my payroll, I could do my marketing, I could do sales, I could do delivery, but then I'd be working 300 hours a week, right? And my time is better spent doing other things. So let the professionals handle the marketing and let you handle your business, which you know best about. And the marriage of those two together, I think, makes a really great, a really great match, and it's just something to strongly be considered.
Absolutely. And, I even just think about the team that we have here at Follow the Eyes. And like you said, we've come from all of these backgrounds and walks of life. And we have compiled this group of people that when it comes to analytics, social media, your digital presence, all of these people, that is their expertise and that is where they excel. So when you have this entire team at your disposal and we're pushing the best numbers for you, we see success every single day when it comes to that stuff. And like you said, that team, it pays to have those people on your side. And you are focusing on running your business and we're focusing on getting people in the door and online so that you can just focus on that. And outsourcing is something that, we look at it as it can be tricky and it can be confusing when really you find a good team and you work together. And like you said, that together relationship is healthy and you're both successful when it comes to that. And, we love to see that happiness on both sides at All the Eyes, just as anyone would. So, Adam, you have definitely blown all of our viewers' minds when it comes to finishing 2020 strong. And there's so much to digest. I think we can go back at any one of these previous slides and just spend hours talking and diving in really into the details and, kind of what that means for each individual business. And so at Follow the Eyes, just because you guys tuned in and watched and you sat here and listened to Adam and I kind of dive into this, we wanted to send you guys a gift. And I mentioned this earlier. And what this is it's our white paper to the 5 tips to finishing 2020 strong. And just because you guys tuned in, we're going to send that to you for free. And we're actually going to have someone follow up with you. And you're even going to get a free recording of this exact webinar. So if you know someone or a business owner, or maybe it's someone internal at your business that this would benefit to watch, you can send this on over to them and they can be filled in and they can have the Follow the Eyes names. And, like Adam has said, we're here at your disposal. We would love to meet with you and work with the problems or the advantages that you've had with COVID-19 and kind of excelling that even further. And so, Adam, I just wanted to thank you again. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always great to have you here with your expertise, and you've been great. So thank you.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate the time, and I appreciate everybody that took the time to watch this.
Yeah, absolutely. And at Follow the Eyes, we're always looking for new things and new things to talk about. So stay tuned. We have been doing webinar on webinar on webinar, and we've had great guests just like Adam joining us. And we're going to keep our eyes peeled for the next one, just like you should. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining us, guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday.